The night deepened, folding itself gently over the workshop like a thick velvet blanket. Shadows stretched long across the floorboards, curling lazily around the legs of tables and the scattered vials of herbs and powders. The fire crackled softly, its warmth rising in gentle waves that carried the scent of roasted oak and faint lavender through the room. Each flicker of light seemed almost alive, breathing slowly, as if the flames themselves had chosen to lull the world to sleep. Aaron remained seated near the feather clock, watching as the last few feathers drifted down in silence. They moved so slowly, so delicately, that one could imagine time itself had paused just to witness their descent. The soft plinks of water droplets from the clock's copper pipe sounded like tiny whispers, calling the night deeper into calm, as though the room were exhaling in perfect harmony. Outside, a breeze rustled the leaves along the edge of the forest. The sound was soft, almost musical susurration of trees whispering secrets to the dark. Aaron inhaled that quiet air and felt it mingle with the warm, herb-scented atmosphere inside. Each inhalation brought with it a sense of weightlessness, of tension melting away, of the mind settling into softness. The traveller shifted in their sleep, a small sigh escaping as though acknowledging the gentle magic of the moment. Their body had relaxed completely, curling into the blanket as if it were the softest nest. Their breathing flowed slowly, rhythmically, like a gentle river meandering toward the sea. Aaron smiled quietly, seeing that the feather clock had done its work, not just regulating time, but arranging the mind to drift into the soothing currents of dreams. He rose silently and walked over to the hearth. The fire's light painted his shadow long across the wooden floor, softening it into a gentle silhouette that seemed to move in slow motion. Aaron leaned close to the flames for a moment, feeling the heat seep into his fingertips, the warmth spreading up his arms, settling into his chest. Each breath was deep and slow, as though the very air in the room was infused with a gentle lullaby. From a nearby shelf, Aaron picked up a small crystal vial containing crushed petals of night-blooming roses. He sprinkled a few onto the embers of the fire. A soft wisp of fragrant smoke rose, curling into the air like delicate ribbons. The scent mingled with lavender and chamomile, wrapping the workshop in a cocoon of calm. The smoke swirled in slow circles, floating lazily before disappearing into the ceiling's rafters, carrying the warmth of comfort and the hush of night. Aaron returned to the traveller and knelt beside them, placing a hand gently on their shoulder. The touch was light, reassuring, like a feather itself. He whispered, though the words were meant more for the room than the sleeper. "Rest now. Let your mind float. Let your heart drift. Tonight you carry nothing but calm." The words barely moved the air, soft as a sigh, yet somehow they reached the edges of the room, brushing against the walls, the candles, the feathers still hovering in the clock. The workshop became a space suspended between moments, where past and future melted into a gentle, timeless present. Aaron's gaze returned to the feather clock. The silver-tipped feather lay at the bottom now, still and luminous, as if it were holding the quiet of the entire night within its tiny form. He allowed himself to linger there, watching how it seemed to breathe in sync with the room itself, slow, steady, peaceful. In the distance, a faint hoot of an owl sounded. It was not startling, not abrupt, but soft. A gentle punctuation in the night. The sound echoed through the fields, carried on the breeze, and seemed to settle lightly on the workshop roof. The rhythm of the owl's call blended perfectly with the soft rustling of leaves, the plink of water, and the subtle crackle of the fire. It was a symphony of calm, designed by the night itself. Aaron closed his eyes for a moment. He felt the warmth of the fire behind him, the faint caress of air from the open window, the soft scent of herbs curling around him. His own breathing slowed further, in tune with the traveler, the clock, and the night. In that suspended space, there was no urgency, no distraction, only the slow, rhythmic unfolding of stillness. From across the workshop, a faint shimmer appeared. The floating candles rose slightly, their flames leaning together as though bowing to the quiet. The entire room seemed to bend towards serenity, each object participating in the lull, each sound a note in a gentle melody. Even the glass vials reflected the candlelight in a soft, diffuse glow, like tiny moons suspended in amber liquid. Aaron reached for a small brush and dusted a tiny layer of powdered moonstone over the top of the feather clock. The powder shimmered faintly as it fell, catching the candlelight in delicate sparks. The effect was almost imperceptible, yet somehow profound, as though the dust carried the promise of dream-filled sleep, of hours unhurried and hearts untroubled. He exhaled slowly. The room seemed to exhale with him. In, out, in, out, in, out. The rhythm stretching, elongating, and softening into a sense of infinite calm. The traveler's breath matched it perfectly, their body rising and falling like the gentle waves of a quiet sea. Aaron whispered again, voice so soft it could have been carried away on the breeze. Let each worry fall away. Let each thought dissolve. Drift, drift. Like the feathers in the clock. Slowly, slowly, settling into nothingness. Outside, the river murmured faintly. The sound was distant, delicate, a liquid thread weaving through the night. The listener may imagine it curling round the hills, brushing the reeds, passing over stones worn smooth by centuries of water, carrying peace in every ripple. Aaron watched the feather clock for a long time, his hands folded on his knees. He let the quiet envelop him, noticing the subtle creaks of the wooden beams. The faintest shifting of candle wax, the tiny movements of floating embers. Every detail was part of the lullaby, every movement part of the soft symphony of night. Hours passed in perfect suspension. The traveler slept deeper, their dreams now flowing freely, drifting over medieval towns and river valleys, along feather-lined paths that only exist in the calm of night. Their breathing was full, rhythmic, almost musical, a sign that the feather clock had done its work. Aaron smiled and lowered his voice even further, speaking for the night itself. Sleep now, deeper, softer. Nothing calls for your attention. You are cradled in peace. The world bends around you, gentle, slow, and kind. The candles flickered in response. The fire crackled faintly, and even the feathers inside the clock seemed to tremble with approval, whispering tiny currents of calm. The room, the workshop, and the night itself had become one seamless wave of rest. Listening to the feather clock and letting the stillness flow through him. The world outside would awaken soon, but for now, everything remained slow, soft, and infinite. The feather clock ticked faintly, a heartbeat for the night. A guardian of calm, a witness to peace. The first light of dawn hovered at the edge of the workshop window, soft and silvery, like a delicate feather brushing against the world. Shadows melted into gentle warmth as the sun's earliest rays slipped through the glass panes. The fire in the hearth had dimmed to glowing embers, the kind that hum a quiet, satisfied song as they release their last bit of heat. Aaron rose slowly, the wood beneath his feet creaking faintly, like a whispered greeting to the new day. The feather clock stood at the center of the room, calm and luminous, its glass orb catching the pale light the feathers resting, perfectly atop the still water, as if preserving the serenity of the night in its fragile heart. He ran his fingers lightly along the clock's frame, feeling the faint pulse of magic embedded within the wood and glass. The traveler stirred, small movements brushing against the blanket. Not fully awake, yet not entirely in dreams. They exhaled softly, a slow and gentle breaths that seemed to acknowledge the safe cocoon Aaron's workshop had become. Their eyes fluttered beneath closed lids, the soft rhythm of their chest rising and falling in time with the lingering calm of the feather clock. Aaron leaned down, lowering his voice to a whisper meant only for the room, only for the gentle moment between night and day. Good morning, though the world is still slow and quiet. Stay in this calm a little longer. Let the light reach you softly. Don't hurry. The traveler's fingers twitched, as if reaching for something unseen, then rested again. Aaron noticed the faintest smile tracing their lips, delicate as a dewdrop on morning grass. Their face bore no shadow of worry, only the soft relief of a mind unburdened. A heart lightened by the magic of feathers and the gentle rhythm of night. Outside, the wind had softened to a whisper, brushing through the trees and bending the stalks of the wheat fields like a lullaby carried by the dawn. The birds had begun to murmur, their voices low and melodic, as though unsure they should wake yet, not wanting to disturb the delicate calm Aaron had nurtured through the night. Each chirp was careful, tender, almost reverent, as if participating in the lingering tranquility. Aaron moved to the windowsill and pressed his hand against the cool wood. He let his fingers trace the grain, feeling the texture, the history, the memories absorbed by the old workshop over countless years. The light touched the surfaces inside, highlighting dust motes that danced lazily in the air, like tiny stars suspended in a golden fog. He exhaled softly, in, out, in, out. The rhythm of the day settling in, slow and deliberate. Each breath allowed the calm to stretch further, filling the room, filling the traveler, filling Aaron himself. The feather clock pulsed faintly as though breathing with them all. Its feathers had absorbed the night's quiet energy and now radiated a soft, steady glow, a reminder that serenity can be captured, preserved, and shared. Aaron's fingers lingered over the glass. He knew the clock was not just a machine, but a living witness to the moments of peace it helped create. He glanced back at the traveler, still resting. He wanted to ensure the calm lingered as long as possible before the world's inevitable stirrings. So he spoke again, voice a soft melody. Remain in this quiet. The light will not harm you. The world may wake, but here you are safe. Your dreams continue if you wish, or you may drift slowly into wakefulness. The traveler's eyelids opened very slowly, revealing soft, unfocused eyes that held the haze of dreams. Aaron's voice remained a whisper, as gentle as the brushing of leaves in the night. Take your time. Breathe, stretch. Let every movement be measured. Let each step be like a feather landing. Outside, the first faint colors of the sunrise began to deepen. Hints of rose, lavender, and gold streaked the sky, reflected softly in the workshop glass. Shadows shifted, not sharply, but as though each one had been taught to move carefully without disturbing the harmony of the space. The air was still cool, but comforted by the warmth from the fire's embers and the gentle caress of morning light. Aaron knelt near the traveler and lightly brushed a hand over their arm, not to awaken abruptly, but to guide them deeper into the lingering calm. The touch was light, almost imperceptible, like a feather falling through air. A warm tingle traveled along their skin, encouraging them to stretch just a little, to welcome the light while keeping the night's serenity close. Feel the warmth of the day, he whispered, voice soft, calm, and steady, but carry the night's peace within you. Let it linger like a hidden song that hums beneath your thoughts. Nothing rushes you here, nothing demands. Only gentle, patient calm. The traveler's breath deepened again. A soft yawn escaped, long and luxurious, like a gentle exhale that rolled over the embers and settled the room further into quiet. Aaron noticed the faintest shift in their shoulders, the slight stretch of their neck, a sign that the body was waking slowly, comfortably, in perfect alignment with the gentle rhythm of the morning. The feather clock pulsed faintly in response, a soft heartbeat of glass and water, as though celebrating the continuity of rest and the seamless handover from night to day. The feathers inside shimmered slightly, reflecting the first rays of sunlight like tiny prisms. They seemed to vibrate with quiet joy, responding to the traveler's ease and the warmth of Aaron's presence. Aaron rose to his feet, moving silently around the workshop. He tended the small plants along the windowsill, brushing leaves lightly, checking petals without disturbing the calm. Each small movement echoed in the soft acoustics of the wooden room, creating an ambient rhythm that the sleeper unconsciously absorbed. Each gesture was slow, precise, and deliberate. A meditation on motion itself, encouraging the mind to continue in peace. The traveler's eyes opened fully now, taking in the warm glow, the gentle firelight, the soft shimmer of feathers, and the quiet presence of Erin. No fear, no urgency, only serene awareness. Aaron smiled, his voice soft and melodic. "Good morning. You have slept well. The night has wrapped you in its gentle arms. The feathers have carried your worries. The clock has watched over you. And now you may rise slowly as a feather drifts to the ground." The world outside had begun to hum softly, birds calling carefully, wind moving through reeds in the distance, the river murmuring faintly like an ancient lullaby. All of it was gentle, reassuring, echoing the harmony of the night Aaron had preserved. The feather clock's final glimmers faded into subtle radiance, holding within it the echo of dreams, the pulse of calm, and the tender magic of time gently slowed for those who needed it most. Aaron exhaled deeply, feeling the last trace of tension leave him, as if he too had slept alongside the traveler, as if he had become part of the peaceful rhythm of the night. The morning, now fully present, was soft, not loud, not harsh, but tender, carrying the promise of a day that could begin slowly, in its own time, with the same grace and gentleness that had guided the night. And in that workshop, filled with feathers, firelight, and the lingering pulse of the feather clock, all hearts, human, magical, and imagined, rested. Peace was complete. Time was soft. The world outside would eventually awaken fully, but for this morning, everything remained suspended in serenity, the calm echoing like a quiet hum through every corner, every breath, every soft feather in the air. The workshop remained wrapped in a gentle haze of warmth and soft light. Erin moved slowly, deliberately, as if every motion was part of the lullaby that carried the night's magic into the dawn. He walked past shelves of old books, each spine lined with centuries of quiet wisdom. Dust motes floated like tiny stars in the soft sunbeams, drifting lazily, each movement slow and deliberate. A reminder that the world itself could unfold at its own pace. He turned his gaze once more to the feather clock. The silver-tipped feather lay settled at the water's surface, perfectly still, reflecting the first hints of morning. It seemed to breathe gently, rising and falling in an almost imperceptible rhythm, carrying the calm of the entire night in its delicate frame. Its glow was faint but warm, a lingering pulse of serenity, as if it knew that its purpose to guide sleep, to calm restless hearts, had been fulfilled. Aaron knelt near the fireplace, running his hand over the smooth stone. The embers, though faint, still held warmth, and the air smelled faintly of burning wood and night-blooming herbs. He closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the tranquility of the room settle into him, as if it were a soft, protective cloak. In, out, in, out. Each breath slowed further, a gentle echo of the night's rhythm, inviting the mind to rest even while awake. The traveler stirred again, small movements flowing like ripples across water. They stretched slowly, deliberately, a feather-like motion that mirrored the descent of the last feather in the clock. Their eyes opened, soft and unhurried, meeting Aaron's gaze with a hint of wonder and gratitude. There was no urgency in their movements, no sharpness in their awareness, only the soft, unbroken calm that Aaron had nurtured through the night. "Good morning," he whispered, voice barely more than a breeze. "The night has kept you safe. The feathers have carried you through dreams, and now the day begins at your pace. Slow, gentle, and kind." The traveler smiled faintly, acknowledging the words, yet saying nothing. There was no need for speech here. The room spoke in rhythms, in quiet gestures, in the subtle pulse of the feather clock and the warmth of the fire. Aaron moved to the window and opened it slightly, letting in the fresh, cool air of the early morning. It stirred the floating dust motes, mingling with the scent of pine and river water carried from the valley. Each breath of air felt like a gentle caress, brushing the skin lightly, encouraging the body and mind to awaken slowly, softly, without the pressure of haste. He watched as the light of the sun grew a little stronger, painting the room in warm golds and gentle pinks. The flicker of candle flames had long since faded, replaced by the calm, natural glow of dawn. Even the shadows leaned slowly across the floor, stretching with grace rather than sharp angles, reminding anyone watching that the world itself could move with patience and care. The traveler rose fully, moving toward the feather clock. Their hand hovered over the glass, not touching, merely acknowledging the magic it held. A sense of reverence hung in the air, a quiet awareness that the clock was more than an instrument of time. It was a guardian of peace, a vessel of calm, and a reminder that the mind and heart could be soothed if one simply allowed it. Aaron spoke softly, his words a whispered guide for the day. "Take your time. Each motion, each thought, each breath, let it be soft, gentle, feather-like. Carry the calm you found in sleep into your waking. Allow it to linger in every movement, every gesture, every step." Outside, the river murmured gently, the reeds swaying softly, and the distant trees bent lightly in the morning wind. The natural world moved at its own measured pace, in harmony with the quiet of the workshop. Aaron felt the connection between the feather clock, the traveler, and the valley outside, an unbroken chain of calm, soft as feathers, slow as dawn. He returned to the hearth, adding a small twig to the embers, not to disturb, but to encourage a subtle warmth, a continuity between the night that had passed and the day that now quietly emerged. The fire responded with a faint crackle, like a soft sigh, merging perfectly with the rhythm of the room. Aaron knelt once more beside the traveler, placing a gentle hand on their shoulder. He whispered, barely audible, letting the words flow with the softness of the morning. "Carry the night's peace with you. Let it guide you, let it remind you that even when the world moves fast, you can move slowly, softly, like a feather on the breeze. The traveler's breath deepened in response, a subtle acknowledgement of understanding, of acceptance. Their eyes, fully open now, reflected the soft golden light and the gentle calm of the workshop. Every line of their face had softened, every shadow of worry dissolved, every tension released into the quiet of the morning. Aaron finally stepped back, allowing them space to move freely. The feather clock shimmered faintly, responding to the energy of the room, glowing with a soft, unhurried pulse, a heartbeat that echoed the rhythm of peace. The silver-tipped feather rested perfectly atop the water, a symbol of balance, stillness, and the gentle passage of time. He breathed in deeply, filling himself with the scent of fire, herbs, and morning air, and then let it drift slowly out again. Each exhale carried the remaining tension of the night, leaving only calm, warmth, and clarity. The workshop seemed to sigh in relief alongside him, stretching with the light, settling into the gentle rhythm of a new day. The traveler moved toward the door, pausing to glance at Aaron and the feather clock. A soft smile touched their lips, a quiet understanding passing between them without words, a recognition that the night's magic would linger long after the morning light fully claimed the valley. Aaron watched them leave, the workshop quiet once more. He turned back to the feather clock, the soft shimmer of feathers still reflecting the morning's gentle glow. He exhaled slowly, allowing the last trace of tension to drift away, and whispered, "Rest.com. Peace, let it remain with all who enter here. Always." The morning continued softly, the valley outside alive with delicate sounds, the wind through the trees, the river murmuring like a lullaby, and the light brushing every surface in tender golden hues. Inside the workshop, all remained still and serene. The feather clock, the floating feathers, and the gentle heartbeat of time itself, reminding every soul that peace is always within reach, if only allowed to drift slowly into the heart. And with that, the workshop became a haven, a sanctuary where the magic of feathers, fire, and quiet time blended together in perfect harmony, a place where sleep had been gifted, dreams had been guided, and calm had been preserved through the gentle, careful work of the alchemist and his feather clock. The valley outside stretched into gentle slopes, bathed in the soft, golden light of a new morning. Every blade of grass glistened faintly with dew, catching the sunlight like tiny mirrors, reflecting the calm that had settled over the world. The distant forest whispered with life a quiet rustle of leaves. The soft hum of early insects, the occasional ripple of the river moving slowly across smooth stones. It all felt like a lullaby, a tender symphony that carried the serenity of the feather clock far beyond the walls of the workshop. Inside, Aaron moved slowly among the shelves, his hands lightly brushing over the spines of old books, each touch gentle, deliberate, reverent. The pages held knowledge and secrets of centuries past, but here they were not demanding, not urgent, they simply existed. ready to share their wisdom in whispers and soft guidance for those willing to listen. He ran his fingers along one particularly ancient tome, feeling the grooves of the leather and the subtle grain of the paper beneath his touch. He paused for a moment, inhaling deeply. The scent of aged parchment mingled with the lingering aroma of herbs and the faint smoke from the hearth. Each breath was a wave of calm, carrying him deeper into stillness, deeper into the slow, gentle rhythm that the night and the feather clock had nurtured. The traveler had returned to the workshop, carrying a small satchel. Their movements were slow, unhurried, deliberate, the kind of movements that match the pace of a quiet, restful morning. They approached the feather clock and placed their hands lightly on the glass, feeling the soft pulse of the magic within. It was a rhythm that seemed to sync with the heartbeat of the valley itself, steady, calm, infinite. Aaron spoke softly, barely above a whisper. "Feel it. The quiet heartbeat, let it guide your movements. Let it remind you that each day can begin slowly, softly, as gently as a feather landing on water." The traveler exhaled, closing their eyes briefly as if absorbing the calm into every part of their being. The soft pulse of the feather clock vibrated through the floorboards and into the soles of their feet, carrying the warmth and serenity that had been present all night long. Outside, the morning continued to expand gently. The sun climbed a little higher, painting the valley in hues of soft amber and rose. Birds flitted through the trees, their chirps delicate, measured as if in tune with the slow unfolding of the day. Even the distant mountains seemed to bend into the rhythm. Their peaks softened by the early light, their shadows stretching lazily across the valley floor. Aaron returned to the hearth, tending the small embers and stirring them just enough to release a whisper of warmth into the room. The faint crackle was a gentle percussion, accompanying the soft, constant pulse of the feather clock. Together, fire and clock created a symphony of calm, a lullaby not just for the night, but for the moments in between, the ones where consciousness drifts softly toward wakefulness, carrying dreams with it. The traveler walked slowly to the window, their hand lightly brushing the frame. They gazed at the valley, bathed in morning light, inhaling the crisp air mixed with scents of pine, earth, and soft flowers blooming near the riverbank. Every breath seemed to stretch time itself, allowing the mind to linger in the peace of the moment before the day fully began. Aaron approached and whispered again, voice soft, smooth, and melodic. "Let the world wake around you, but keep your pace slow. Let your movements be gentle. Let every thought unfold like a feather drifting down. Nothing hurried, nothing sharp, only soft, flowing calm." The traveler nodded, eyes half closed, taking the advice into their very bones, letting it become part of the rhythm of their morning. Their hand rested once more on the feather clock, feeling its gentle pulse, and they let their fingers linger there for a few moments, savoring the sense of connection, of continuity, of the magic that had guided their night's rest. Aaron walked slowly to the side table, where he picked up a small cup of tea infused with chamomile and mint. The steam rose lazily, curling in delicate spirals, carrying the aroma through the room. He lifted it to his lips, letting the warmth spread gently through his body. Each sip was slow, measured, a meditation in itself, a celebration of the calm that had been carefully cultivated throughout the night and into the morning. The traveler mirrored him, pouring a small cup of their own. They held it in their hands for a moment, feeling the heat, inhaling the gentle scent, and letting it seep into their muscles and bones. The calm carried in the warmth of the tea, combined with the lingering magic of the feather clock, created a sense of soft suspension, a pause between sleep and the demands of the day. Erin's voice broke the quiet once more, soft, hypnotic, filled with care. Each day need not rush. The hours can unfold slowly. Let the moments stretch like ribbons. Feel the calm. Let it guide your hands, your feet, your heart. Carry it with you. The traveler exhaled slowly, letting the words sink in. They could feel the pulse of the feather clock still beneath their fingertips, a quiet reminder that time was not always a burden, that moments could be soft, that life could be featherlight when given the patience to unfold. Outside, the valley seemed to respond. A soft breeze moved through the reeds along the riverbank, creating a gentle rustling sound. Birds hopped from branch to branch, pausing as if not wanting to disturb the fragile calm. Even the river whispered more quietly, carrying the secret lullaby of the night into the slow awakening of the day. Aaron returned the empty teacup to the table and glanced once more at the feather clock. The feathers shimmered faintly in the morning light, reflecting gold, silver, and soft pastel hues. Their beauty was subtle, serene, and hypnotic, a reminder of the night's magic and the unbroken peace it had woven into the workshop and the hearts within it. He exhaled again, slowly, letting his own body absorb the lingering warmth, the tranquility, and the gentle rhythm of the morning. In, out, in, out. Each breath matching the calm pulse of the clock, the soft rising of the sun, and the steady hum of the valley outside. The traveler finally stood fully, stretching in slow, feather-like motions. Their movements were unhurried, graceful, and deliberate, as though they had learned from the night how to move in harmony with time itself. The calm flowed through them, a quiet inheritance of serenity that would carry through every action of their day. Aaron whispered, almost like a final blessing, "Carry this peace with you. Let it drift softly in your mind. Let it settle in your chest. Let it guide your steps. And remember, the world always allows you to move at the speed of your own heart. Featherlight, gentle, calm." The feather clock pulsed one last time in response to the words, a faint, delicate heartbeat that echoed softly through the workshop. The light shimmered like morning dew on a spider's web, capturing the quiet magic of both night and day. The traveler gave a small nod, a quiet smile, and turned toward the door. The workshop, the valley, the feather clock, all were still suspended in a gentle serenity, a safe haven for rest, dreams, and the slow unfolding of the world. Aaron remained beside the clock, letting the calm wash over him once more, feeling it settle into every corner of the room, every breath, every heartbeat. And as the morning light grew warmer, the valley alive with whispers of life, and the world began its soft, measured motions, the magic of the feather clock remained, a reminder that peace, patience, and gentle care could always be found, if one simply allowed themselves to move like a feather on the wind. The morning settled fully over the valley, soft and unhurried, carrying the gentle warmth of sunbeams filtering through the trees. Aaron walked slowly through the workshop, every movement light and deliberate, as if he were gliding along a feathered path. The air was thick with the comforting scent of herbs and old wood, curling softly into the corners, embracing every surface in a quiet, invisible hug. The traveler moved toward a chair near the feather clock, sitting slowly, deliberately, letting their hands rest in their lap. The soft rhythm of the clock pulsed in response, echoing the slow, steady heartbeat of their own body. Aaron sat nearby, both of them sharing the silence, a peaceful, companionable quiet where words were unnecessary, replaced by the shared calm of breathing, feeling, being. "Remember," Aaron whispered, "the day need not rush you." Every movement a ripple across still water. Gentle, soft, calm. The traveler exhaled slowly, their chest rising and falling in deliberate rhythm, eyes closing for a brief moment as if to seal the night's serenity within themselves. Even the soft golden light that poured across the room seemed to pause, lingering in the corners and on the floorboards, respecting the quiet, honoring the calm. His shoulders dropped, his chest relaxed, and his mind felt like the river outside, slow, reflective, peaceful. He turned to the traveler, offering one final soft whisper before they left the workshop. "Carry this calm with you. Let it move through your day. Let it settle in your heart. Like feathers resting on still water, gentle, soft, infinite." The traveler stood, moving with slow grace, stepping lightly toward the door. Each footfall was deliberate, a careful echo of the rhythm of the feather clock, a continuation of the night's gentle lullaby. They glanced once more at Aaron and the clock, their smile quiet, serene, full of gratitude. Then they moved outside, carrying the magic of peace into the world beyond. Aaron remained, watching the sunlight grow stronger, the valley alive with soft, measured movement, the river reflecting gold and silver ribbons, and the trees swaying lightly. The feather clock pulsed faintly, a delicate heartbeat in the workshop, a reminder that peace, patience, and calm could always be found, preserved, and shared. He exhaled one last time, slow and steady, and whispered into the quiet room, "Sleep, calm, peace. May it live in every heart that enters here. May it drift softly through the world, like a feather on the wind." And in that soft, golden morning light, the workshop held its stillness, a sanctuary of serenity, a place where night's magic and day's awakening moved together in perfect, feather-light harmony. The feather clock rested quietly, the silver feathers shimmering faintly, the pulse of calm lingering in every corner, every breath, every heartbeat. The morning continued its slow, deliberate rise, soft light spilling through the workshop window, bathing every surface in warmth. The feather clock rested at the center of the room, its feathers shimmering faintly, catching the sunlight in delicate ribbons of gold and silver. Each feather seemed almost alive, as if breathing softly with the room, as if the calm from the night had settled within them and would not easily leave. Aaron walked quietly to the workbench, his fingers brushing over tools and vials without disturbing their order. The glass jars reflected the morning light, scattering tiny glimmers across the wooden surface. Every movement was deliberate, slow, precise, like a meditation in motion. The quiet hum of the room mingled with the soft, rhythmic pulse of the feather clock, creating a gentle atmosphere that felt suspended in time. The traveler lingered by the window, watching the valley stretch into the distance. The river glimmered faintly, birds moved lazily among the branches, and the soft whisper of wind through the reeds created a delicate symphony of sound. They inhaled slowly, savoring the serenity, feeling it flow into every muscle, every thought, every heartbeat. Their breath matched the gentle rhythm of the clock, steady and calm, like a wave rolling across a quiet shore. Aaron leaned closer to the clock, his voice soft and melodic, almost blending with the room itself. Time need not rush. Moments may drift slowly, like feathers floating on still water. Let the calm stay with you. Let it follow you, in every movement, in every breath. The traveler's hand hovered just above the glass, as if acknowledging the gentle magic within, feeling the subtle pulse beneath their fingers without pressing down. It was a connection beyond words, a shared understanding of the serenity that had been carefully crafted over hours of quiet care. Outside, the valley seemed to respond to the magic lingering in the air. Trees swayed gently, their leaves brushing together softly. The river murmured over smooth stones. Birds called in low, careful notes. Even the distant mountains appeared softened, their peaks blurred by the early morning haze. The world itself moved at the pace of the feather clock, unhurried, gentle, and full of quiet presence. Aaron moved to the hearth, kneeling to stir the faint embers. They glowed with a soft, comforting heat, and the tiny scent of smoked wood mingled with lingering herbs, creating a cocoon of warmth in the room. Each crackle of the embers was like a whisper, a note in the soft lullaby that filled the space, connecting the night to the morning with subtle continuity. The traveler finally approached the clock, sitting slowly on a low stool beside it. Their eyes followed the feathers, silver tips reflecting sunlight like tiny fragments of dawn. They exhaled slowly, letting their shoulders drop, releasing the last traces of tension from the night. Their breathing fell into a steady, deliberate rhythm, matching the gentle pulse of the feather clock. "Carry this calm," Aaron whispered, voice soft, warm, and hypnotic. "Let it flow with you. In every thought, every step, every glance. Let the world move softly around you, as softly as these feathers. Let it guide your heart." The traveler's eyes softened, their lips curving in a quiet, serene smile. The magic of the feather clock, the lull of the workshop, and the gentle rhythm of the morning had seeped into them completely. Even without words, the peace within the room had become part of them, settling into their mind, body, and soul. Aaron turned toward the window, inhaling the crisp morning air. The valley stretched in soft, gentle waves of light and shadow. The river shimmered, reflecting the sky in delicate tones of gold and silver. The trees swayed slowly, leaves brushing lightly against one another, and even the wind seemed to pause to honor the calm. Each breath he took was deliberate, slow, echoing the rhythm of the feathers, the fire, and the valley outside. In, out, a gentle wave of calm flowing through the space. The traveler stretched their hands slowly, deliberately, feeling the warmth of the sun through the window and the soft magic of the workshop around them. Their movements were like a slow dance, featherlight, unhurried, perfectly in sync with the world outside and the clock inside. "Even as you rise," Aaron whispered, "let the calm remain. Let it guide your steps. Let it fill your thoughts. Let it stay with you. Soft, steady, like a feather floating gently through the air." The sunlight grew warmer, touching the wooden floorboards, the shelves, the jars, and the clock itself. Every surface seemed to hum with quiet energy, the echo of the night's careful magic lingering in subtle, hypnotic waves. Aaron inhaled, letting the warmth, the peace, and the gentle rhythm fill him completely. The feather clock pulsed once more, faintly, a slow, steady heartbeat in the room. Its feathers shimmered gently, as if breathing along with the world outside, carrying with them the serenity of the night into the full light of morning. Aaron rose slowly, letting the rhythm of calm guide each step. He moved to the traveler and placed a hand lightly on their shoulder, a touch that was soft, steady, and grounding. "Carry this calm with you. Let it move with your hands, your feet, your heart. Let it float through your day like feathers on the wind, soft, gentle, infinite." The traveler nodded, a quiet, peaceful acknowledgement. They rose, moving slowly toward the door, their movements deliberate, feather-like, carrying with them the magic of the feather clock into the world beyond the workshop. Aaron watched them go, breathing in the lingering warmth and calm. The workshop remained quiet, filled with soft light, faint embers, and the gentle pulse of the feather clock. Every corner, every surface, every breath held the memory of the night's lullaby, ready to welcome the next soul in need of rest and serenity. He exhaled deeply, feeling the last threads of tension leave the room and his own body. The valley outside shimmered in gold and silver light. The wind whispered through the trees, and the river murmured its delicate lullaby. The day had begun, but the calm of the feather clock lingered, suspended in every breath, every heartbeat, every soft shadow. Aaron turned once more to the clock, smiling faintly. The feathers rested perfectly atop the water, silver tips shimmering faintly, reflecting the soft morning light. Their gentle pulse, steady and serene, reminded him that peace, patience, and calm could always be preserved, carried and shared in the night, in the morning, and in the quiet moments in between. He whispered once more, softly, for the room, for the valley, for anyone who might listen. Peace, calm, serenity. May it travel with every heart, gentle, slow, featherlight, eternal. And as the sun rose higher, brushing the workshop in tender warmth, the feather clock pulsed faintly, a heartbeat of stillness, a guardian of soft, slow time, and a reminder that calm could always be found, if one simply allowed themselves to drift like a feather on the wind. The valley stretched quietly beneath the rising sun. Each tree, each stone, each ripple of the river bathed in gentle golden light. The world seemed to move slowly, as if the very air had been taught to float softly. In rhythm with the feather clock, Aaron walked through the workshop, hands trailing along shelves, glass bottles, and wooden boxes, feeling every texture, every subtle imperfection, as though greeting old friends. Aaron exhaled slowly, his chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm with the gentle hum of the valley and the heartbeat of the clock. Sunlight shifted across the floorboards, casting long, delicate patterns that danced softly like feathers drifting on a gentle breeze. Dust motes sparkled as they floated lazily through the warm beams, their slow motion hypnotic, a visual lullaby that reminded the mind to ease, to drift, to rest. Aaron paused near the window, pressing a hand lightly to the cool wooden frame. He inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with the crisp morning air, scented faintly with pine, soft earth, and distant flowers. Each breath was deliberate, slow, soft, a gentle meditation that resonated with the calm that the feather clock had cultivated throughout the night. He leaned slightly, letting the warmth of the morning sun brush his cheek, and whispered softly, almost as if sharing a secret with the valley itself. even as the day begins, you may carry the calm within you. Each thought, each step, each heartbeat, let it drift slowly, like feathers floating on still water. The workshop was still, yet alive in a way that was gentle, unhurried, and hypnotic. The embers in the hearth glowed faintly, the scent of smoked wood lingering, and the faint hum of the feather clock pulsed rhythmically. Every object, every surface, every breath seemed to participate in the quiet symphony of serenity that had settled over the room. Aaron moved to the feather clock, brushing his fingertips lightly along its smooth glass surface. The feathers shimmered faintly, catching the sunlight and scattering subtle reflections across the wooden floor. The gentle pulse of the clock seemed to sync with his own heartbeat, slow and steady, like a river flowing softly, carrying all tension away. He exhaled, letting his shoulders drop, letting his mind dissolve into the gentle rhythm of the morning. In, out, in, out. Each breath, each exhale, a continuation of the lullaby woven by night, now carried into the new day. The valley beyond the window seemed to echo the calm. Leaves rustled softly in the wind, the river murmured quietly over smooth stones, and birds moved with a delicate grace, careful not to disturb the tranquility. Even the distant mountains appeared softened by the golden light, peaks leaning gently into the warmth of morning. Aaron returned to the small table where the traveler had left their cup of tea. He lifted it slowly, inhaling the soothing aroma of chamomile and mint. He sipped gently, feeling the warmth spread through him, a tactile reminder that calm could be held, savored, and carried forward. The warmth settled not just in his chest, but in his mind, his limbs, his very being. He set the cup down slowly and knelt beside the feather clock once more. His voice was a soft melody, barely above the whisper of wind outside. Let the calm remain. Let it follow you wherever you go. Let it move through every thought, every motion, every heartbeat. Like a feather drifting on the breeze, unhurried, unbroken, soft. Aaron closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the pulse of the clock beneath his fingers, the warmth of the hearth at his side, and the gentle light of the sun filtering through the windows. The room seemed to breathe with him, every object and shadow synchronized to the rhythm of peace. He opened his eyes and glanced toward the door, imagining the traveler moving slowly through the valley, carrying the calm they had shared together. The thought alone brought a soft, satisfied smile to his lips. He knew the magic of the feather clock was not just in the room, but in the hearts it touched, the serenity it inspired, the slow rhythm it imparted to every life it encountered. The sunlight shifted again, brushing the floor in warm, golden streaks. Dust motes drifted lazily, catching the light like tiny stars, reminding him that even small, subtle moments can hold magic, can carry calm, can become part of the lullaby of life. Aaron exhaled, letting his breath carry the remnants of night and early morning, filling the room with quiet rhythm. He whispered softly to the room, to the valley, to anyone who might hear the echo of his words. peace, calm, serenity. Let it settle in your chest. Let it flow through your hands. Let it guide your steps. Featherlight, soft, infinite. He stood slowly, every movement deliberate, echoing the rhythm of the feather clock. He traced a hand along the workshop walls, touching each surface lightly, letting the textures remind him of the care embedded in the space, the careful preservation of calm, and the soft magic that lingered in every corner. The clock pulsed faintly once more, a delicate heartbeat in the quiet room. Its silver feathers shimmered in the sun, reflecting the soft warmth of morning and the lingering calm of night. Aaron exhaled, feeling the slow rhythm settle in him completely, as if the valley, the clock, and the workshop itself were all breathing together in perfect harmony. And in that stillness, that soft embrace of morning light, the feather clock remained a guardian of peace, a gentle guide for those who sought calm, and a reminder that serenity could always be found if only one allowed themselves to drift like a feather on the wind. The world outside continued its gentle awakening, but the magic of the workshop, the heartbeat of the feather clock, and the slow, deliberate movements of Aaron ensured that the calm lingered soft and unbroken, carrying the lullaby of night into the day. The feather clock pulsed one final time in the morning sun. Silver feathers catching the light, each shimmer a whisper, a reminder. Peace is present always, calm can be carried. Serenity is infinite if one moves gently, slowly, feather-like through life. The valley stretched quietly beneath the soft morning sun. Each tree, each ripple in the river, and each blade of grass glowing with tender light. The workshop remained calm, a sanctuary untouched by haste, where the feather clock pulsed faintly, a subtle rhythm connecting night to day, sleep to wakefulness. Aaron moved slowly through the room, his steps featherlight, almost gliding, careful not to disturb the lingering quiet. He paused near the workbench, fingers brushing over the smooth surfaces of glass, bottles, jars, and vials. The sunlight caught the edges of the glass, scattering delicate patterns of light across the wood. Each shimmer seemed to float slowly, suspended in the warm, still air, like a feather caught in a sunbeam. Aaron inhaled gently, letting the scent of aged wood, herbs, and the faint smoke from the hearth settle into his mind and body. The feather clock rested at the center of the room, silver-tipped feathers floating delicately atop the water. Its soft pulse seemed alive, almost breathing in harmony with the workshop and the valley outside. Each faint shimmer, each subtle movement, was hypnotic, a gentle lullaby for anyone present, whispering calm to the mind, serenity to the heart, and stillness to the body. Aaron leaned closer to the clock, voice barely above a whisper, soft as the rustle of leaves outside. Let the calm of this place follow you, each heartbeat, each step, each breath. Let it linger. Featherlight, gentle, unhurried. The workshop was quiet but alive with subtle energy. The embers in the hearth glowed faintly, releasing a warm, comforting scent, mingling with the delicate aroma of herbs. Dust motes floated lazily through the golden light, drifting as if suspended in air, reminding the mind to slow, to breathe, to rest in the gentle rhythm of the world. Aaron moved to the window, hands lightly touching the wooden frame. Outside, the valley stretched in a gentle panorama of green and gold. The river shimmered lazily, reflecting the soft light of the morning sky. Birds moved from branch to branch, each motion careful, unhurried, a perfect echo of the rhythm the feather clock had created inside the workshop. He exhaled slowly, letting the warmth of the morning and the calm of the clock flow through him, in, out, in, out. Each breath a feather, drifting gently through the chest, the arms, the mind carrying tranquility through every part of him. The traveler, now beyond the workshop, moved slowly through the valley. Their steps were deliberate, careful, unhurried, each one guided by the calm the feather clock had imprinted on their mind. Every rustle of grass beneath their feet, every whisper of wind through their hair was a reminder that serenity could be carried, preserved, and shared with the world, one gentle movement at a time. Aaron returned to the clock, brushing his fingers lightly across the glass. The feathers shimmered in response, silver tips catching the sunlight, vibrating faintly, a heartbeat of calm echoing softly through the workshop. Each pulse reminded him that peace is not fleeting. It is a gift to hold, a rhythm to sync with, and a soft magic to share with anyone who enters. He whispered again, soft, melodic, hypnotic. Let this calm remain. Let it follow your thoughts, your movements. Let it settle in your chest. Let it drift like a feather across still waters. Soft, unhurried, infinite. The sun continued its slow climb, filling the room with warm, golden light. Every object, every surface, every shadow seemed to participate in the gentle symphony of serenity. Aaron inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth, the scent, and the quiet pulse of the workshop meld into one steady, calm rhythm. He walked slowly to the hearth, running his hand over the warm stone. The embers glowed softly, crackling only in whispers. He stirred them slightly, releasing the faint scent of smoked wood and herbs, letting the warmth circulate gently. Every sound, every movement was an extension of the calm, a gentle continuation of the lullaby that had guided the night and now accompanied the morning. Aaron glanced toward the door, imagining the traveler moving slowly through the valley, carrying the peace within them. The thought alone brought a soft, content smile to his lips. He knew that the magic of the feather clock was not confined to the workshop. It traveled with the heart, with the mind, with the quiet rhythm of one who learned to move like a feather on the wind. He returned to the window, looking out at the valley bathed in soft morning light. Even the mountains in the distance appeared feather-light, leaning softly into the warmth of the day. Aaron inhaled deeply, letting the calm flow into him completely, filling every part of his being. He knelt once more beside the feather clock, brushing his fingers lightly along the smooth glass surface. The silver feathers shimmered faintly, reflecting sunlight in soft, delicate ribbons. The gentle pulse of the clock seemed to sync with his heartbeat, slow and steady, a tangible rhythm of serenity that reminded him of the continuity of peace, of calm, and of quiet presence. "Carry this with you," Aaron whispered softly. "Let it drift in your thoughts, your actions, your words. Let the calm be your companion, featherlight, gentle, eternal." Outside, the valley continued its slow awakening. The river's surface shimmered, leaves rustled gently, and birds moved through the trees with careful grace. Each element seemed to echo the feather clock's rhythm, moving in harmony, slow and deliberate, a reminder that the world itself can be soft, unhurried, and serene when one allows it to be. Aaron exhaled slowly, letting the last threads of tension leave him. The workshop remained a haven of calm, filled with golden light, the faint warmth of the hearth, and the subtle heartbeat of the feather clock. Every corner, every object, every breath carried the memory of night's lullaby, a gift of serenity that could extend into every day, every step, every moment. He stood slowly, feeling the rhythm of calm guide each movement. His hand brushed along the wooden surfaces, tracing textures that reminded him of patience, care, and the delicate magic that lingered in the room. The feather clock pulsed faintly, silver feathers glimmering, a heartbeat of quiet, infinite calm. And as the valley continued to glow softly under the morning sun, the workshop, the clock, and Aaron remained in harmony, a sanctuary of serenity where time flowed gently. Peace was tangible, and every breath could be as soft, slow, and feather-like as the drifting silver feathers on still water. The sunlight grew warmer, spilling across the valley in golden waves that reached gently into the workshop. Aaron walked slowly to the feather clock, each step soft as a whisper, his movements echoing the steady, hypnotic pulse of the silver feathers floating delicately atop the water. He knelt beside the clock, brushing his fingers lightly over the smooth glass. The feathers shimmered faintly in the sunlight, reflecting soft ribbons of gold and silver that seemed to float lazily across the room. Each pulse of the clock felt like a heartbeat, steady and gentle, a quiet lullaby for anyone who chose to listen and follow its rhythm. Aaron inhaled slowly, letting the scents of herbs, wood, and faint smoke fill his lungs. Each breath was deliberate, slow, and soothing, a rhythm perfectly in sync with the calm pulse of the feather clock. In, out, in, out. Each inhale and exhale, a feather drifting slowly, carrying peace through his body, his mind, and his very soul. Outside, the valley stretched in quiet majesty. The river shimmered softly, reflecting the light in delicate patterns that drifted gently along its surface. Birds moved carefully through the trees, each flutter of wings precise, unhurried, almost as if paying homage to the slow, deliberate calm that had settled over the world. Even the mountains in the distance leaned softly into the golden morning, their peaks softened by haze, gentle and feather-like. Erin's voice broke the stillness, soft and melodic, a gentle whisper blending with the quiet of the morning. Carry this calm with you. Let it settle in your chest, in your hands, in your feet. Let it move softly, like feathers drifting on still water. Gentle, slow, infinite. The workshop responded to his words in subtle ways. Dust motes floated lazily in the light, glinting softly as they drifted. The embers in the hearth glowed faintly, releasing a whisper of warmth into the room. Even the air seemed to hold still, reverent, as if honoring the calm and allowing it to linger as long as possible. Aaron stood slowly, each movement deliberate and smooth, in perfect harmony with the feather clock's pulse. He walked toward the window, hands resting lightly on the wooden frame, feeling the textures beneath his fingers. Outside, the valley was alive in quiet motion. The river whispered, the wind brushed leaves softly, and the occasional bird called, gentle notes drifting through the air. He exhaled slowly, letting the rhythm of the morning, the pulse of the clock, and the soft warmth of the sun fill him completely. Every breath was a soft wave, washing away tension, carrying serenity, and anchoring him firmly in the calm of the present moment. Returning to the hearth, he stirred the faint embers, releasing the subtle scent of herbs and smoked wood. The warmth rose gently, touching his skin like a soft caress, reminding him that peace could be felt, carried, and shared. Every small sound, the whisper of embers, the soft rustle of dust, the faint pulse of the clock was a note in a delicate lullaby that filled the space, a gentle melody of stillness. Aaron moved once more to the feather clock, brushing his fingers lightly along the glass. The feathers shimmered faintly, reflecting the sunlight in slow, graceful arcs. He leaned close, eyes soft, voice barely above a whisper. Even as the day unfolds, let the calm remain. Let it float in your thoughts. Let it guide your hands. Let it settle in your heart, like feathers drifting softly on a quiet river. He exhaled slowly, letting the words resonate through the room, through the valley, through the soft golden morning. Every movement, every breath, every thought was guided by the pulse of the clock, the warmth of the hearth, and the quiet magic of the workshop. Aaron returned to the window, resting his hands lightly on the frame. The traveler's presence lingered in his mind, imagining them moving slowly through the valley, carrying the calm within them. The thought was comforting, like a soft ripple across still water. He exhaled once more, shoulders relaxed, chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm with the feather clock. The workshop was alive in the gentlest way, every corner holding calm, every object infused with soft magic, every sound a whisper of serenity. The sunlight shifted slightly, catching the silver feathers of the clock. They shimmered in delicate arcs, reflecting gold, silver, and soft pastel tones. Aaron reached out, brushing a fingertip lightly along the glass, feeling the pulse beneath. Slow, steady, infinite. "Let this calm follow you," he whispered, like feathers drifting through the air. Aaron stood quietly, watching the valley bathed in the golden light of late morning. The feather clock pulsed faintly before him, silver feathers floating atop the water, shimmering softly with every heartbeat. The room was still filled with warmth, light, and the lingering magic of calm, a sanctuary where time seemed to move featherlight, unhurried and infinite. He exhaled slowly, shoulders relaxed, chest rising and falling with steady, gentle rhythm. The river outside murmured softly, the trees swayed in a lazy dance, and the distant mountains leaned softly into the warm light. Everything breathed together in harmony, a quiet symphony of peace that needed no words. Aaron whispered one last time, voice soft as the breeze, "Carry this calm with you always. Let it settle in your heart. Let it drift with your thoughts. Let it guide your steps. Featherlight, gentle, eternal." The workshop, the valley, and the clock itself held the serene echo of that whisper. The silver feathers shimmered faintly in the sunlight, their rhythm slow, soft, and steady, a heartbeat of infinite calm. And so the traveler's footsteps and Aaron's gentle whispers carried on. mingling with the wind, the river, and the rustling leaves. The feather clock remained a quiet guardian of peace, a soft lullaby for any who entered, and a gentle reminder that calm and serenity were always within reach, waiting to be carried like feathers on the soft currents of life. The day continued, slow, gentle, unhurried, and in that stillness, all who listened could rest. The end. Please subscribe, like, and comments on this YouTube channel, Moonlight Story Haven, for more videos.